Bosnia is a place haunted by what its people did to one another during their war. And today, the victims' demand for an accounting of past crimes must be balanced with the country's desire somehow to escape them and move forward. In an old factory in central Bosnia, the human cost of the war is still being measured. For it's here that unidentified corpses from mass graves are being delivered even today, and the families of 30,000 still missing search for answers.
This is overwhelming in a certain way. There are pictures of the missing. There are human remains pretty much everywhere here, by the hundreds. And then at the end there are scraps of clothing and other things that have been recovered with them. And this place is the main hope that a lot of the families of those missing have for discovering what on earth happened to a loved one who just disappeared all those years ago.
Having covered the war 25 years ago, I've come back to explore the impact that one particularly malign man had on the lives of thousands. Ratku Mladiću commanded Serb forces in the Bosnian War. He's now facing a verdict on an enormous catalogue of war crimes, including genocide. It's taken 6 years to try.
4 days ago marked 2 decades since Ratku Mladiću became the commander of the main staff of the Army of Republika Srpska, the VRS. On that day, he assumed the mantle of realizing through military might the criminal goals of ethnically cleansing much of Bosnia.
Nusreta Sivac was a judge herself in the northwestern town of Prijedor when Serb troops took it over in May 1992. She was fired and became one of thousands of Muslims sent to a maska, an iron ore plant that would become infamous as a camp where, in a few months, 700 inmates died.
To je strašno bilo, ne znam šta bi izdvojila, tu je toliko toga groznog, od ubistava masovnih, od mučenja ljudi, zlostavljanja, izgladnjivanja, prebijanja, ubijanja predmetima raznoraznim.
A maska was the product of what was called ethnic cleansing, driving non-Serbs out of much of Bosnia. 37 women were used to serve in the camp's dining hall. During the day, they could hear torture going on in their nearby dormitories, and night brought its own anguish.
Psiha da se žena slomi, i to je vrlo specifičan način seksualnog zlostavljanja u Omarskoj. Mi smo čutale, nismo jedno drugo ništa tamo, nismo govorile. Ali smo pretpostavljale šta se dešava sa onom ženom koja se ne vraća cijelu noć ili nekoliko sati u toku noći kad dođe onako blijeda i zmrcvarena, kad se ono šuti, jeli?
Mr. Kvočka, please rise.
Early on, the Hague Tribunal tried several of the Omarska guards. One of those trials featured Miroslav Kvočka, a policeman at the start of the war. He was described in court as deputy commander of the camp. Then, as now, he portrays himself as someone who saved his Muslim wife's relatives from the horror of the camp.
I onda ona digla ruke, ona sa svojom porodicom ne kontaktira. 3 brata sam joj spasio ispod noža.
The chamber considers that isolated acts of kindness to some prisoners do not absolve an individual of crimes which may have been committed.
The court said he was culpable of joint enterprise. He knew what was going on and didn't stop it.
The chamber finds you guilty of the crime against humanity, persecution, and the war crimes, murder and torture.
In the war, we used to travel into Sarajevo via Mount Igman. We're here again. This place, a remnant of the Winter Olympics, became a battleground as the focus of the war shifted from the area around Prijedor to Bosnia's capital. From the beginning of the conflict, Mladić brought to bear the Serb army's superiority in artillery. And as this intercepted conversation showed, used it against the population of Sarajevo.
So you come out of the flat that morning.
Yeah.
Mia Karamehic was a 7-year-old living on Ferhadir Street. The siege had just started and she was brought out by a rumour of ice cream.
The earth began to shake. I went flying up in the air. I could see everybody lying on the street, people in pieces, a lot of blood.
In those dreadful moments in which 20 people died, a cameraman captured this fleeting image of Mia being carried off. She survived shrapnel wounds. Her mother lost a leg in the blast. Together, the family and neighbours endured the following 3 years, during which, at times, 1,000 shells a day would fall on the city. The Hague process has gone on for so long that some convicts have done their time in European prisons and come home. A few years ago, jubilant crowds turned out to meet Momcilo Krajisnik as he returned. He was the Speaker of the Serb Parliament and, having served his punishment, accepts people on his side were also guilty of war crimes.
Svaki narod, Srbi, Hrvati, Muslimani, svako svoje optužene ne smatra krivim, nego samo one druge. I tu ima dosta subjektivnosti, tako da se to pomalo pomiješa.
But across in the east of the country, events reached a tipping point in the final year of the war.
The genocide indictment against General Ratku Mladić divides his crimes into various phases. The early part of the war around Prijedor, northwest Bosnia, then the siege of Sarajevo in the centre, and then finally the enormous catalogue of crimes that took place in this place in 1995, Srebrenica.
The UN had declared the Srebrenica enclave to be a safe area, but in fact, as Mladić planned its capture, the Dutch UN troops who were meant to defend it had been abandoned by their higher commanders. Srebrenica was overrun and more than 20,000 frightened Muslim women and children crammed into the Dutch base. Rob Sommer was one of the soldiers there.
Still, any time when I walk in this door, a split second, I smell and see the people. Dead people, there is no toilets, babies, everything together. You cannot mention how much it was. Thousands of people.
As Srebrenica fell, one woman gave Rob Sommer her baby to look after.
How desperate must that lady be to give it on some strange guy because he have a blue helmet? Only to give, because on that moment it was the best for her, thinking for her, to give the best on her baby for surviving.
He passed the child on to medics and it survived. Mladić guaranteed the women and children safe passage, but meanwhile his troops hunted the men of Srebrenica. They were gathered in places like this school. The man who told us that, Mevludin Oric, went back with us for only the second time since Serb troops brought him and hundreds of others here to kill them.
Ovdje je bila gromnica, ovdje. Ja sam otprilike ovdje ležao. Tu sam ležao, no. Vidiš livadu, puna mrtvi. Ustaneš. Tačno, ovdje bila gromca. Obišao sam pored nje i ošao.
Mevludin survived by playing dead among the corpses, and at night he escaped over the mountains to government territory.
Ova zemlja je puna krvi.
In Prijedor, where Nusreta Sivac returned after the war, there are also reminders everywhere. Some men who were never arrested, others who've served their sentences, and she now encounters on the streets.
Pa vidjela sam 2 puta ovoga Kvočku, vidjela sam Krka, vidjela sam Čkalu, vidjela sam njih 3, vidjela sam. Izišli su oni, već uslužili su 2/3 kazne i sad su oni slobodni građani.
Miroslav Kvočka, taking labouring jobs since his return, is unable to leave the past behind or get over what he regards as an injustice.
To je, znači, za početak. Niste zaposleni, neće vas niko zaposliti normalno, kao ratnog zločinca.
Mevludin Oric is haunted by the loss of his father, brother and numerous cousins, and also by the fact that he still recognises Serbs around here from those killing fields.
Mladić je jedan čovjek. I on će doživotno dobiti, sigurno. Znači, to je garant. Ali 1000 mladića ima na slobodi, koji hodaju, smiju se, meni u obraz.
For Momčilo Krajišnik, it's pointless quibbling with a sentence he's already served. He's done with raging against The Hague, and today thinks politicians have to leave their sectarian approach behind.
Vrlo je bitno u Bosni i Hercegovini da dođe do pomirenja. Plašim se da ovo sve što se dešava, ovo je samo rat drugim sredstvima.
Thousands of survivors demand that as trials end soon in The Hague, the pursuit of war crimes should go on in Bosnia itself. And that's what'll happen in a country where the political elites that started the war and benefit from continued division still call the shots.